I want you to imagine that you wake up tomorrow and your job is gone, no severance, no saving, and your rent is due in 3 weeks. What exactly would you do? I know most of people would panic, but here's the thing: in 2026, Canada has more real and legitimate ways to make extra money. And the very good thing about all of these ways is that I'm going to show you right now on how to really make extra money in Canada. You can just start with your mobile phone and Wi-Fi connection. So I'm going to show you real method, real numbers, real platforms that can really help you to start making extra cash if you're from Canada. So let's dive in. Living in Canada right now is very expensive. Everything is expensive. Gas is expensive, oil is expensive, but also groceries are up and rent is brutal. So it's really, really hard to live in Canada depending on just one single income. And the aim of me making this video is to make sure that I'm coming with this real method that if you're going to apply these methods can be really good for anyone that wants to really start side hustle, but really doesn't know like whether exactly to start side hustle and what kind of platforms that you can start making money if you're from Canada. So I'm coming up with these best ways that you can really apply into your life right now, and you can start making at least $100 up to $2,000. It just depends like your effort and how much you really want this. There are a lot of Canadians right now, they're making $100 up to $1,000 every single month, and that's the reason I decided to come up with these very good and strategic plans for you to start making money. This is our first method. If you're from Canada, you have to apply this method to start making money. Alright, so I want you to go to download this application on your mobile phone right now. Our first application is called Instacart, and the next one is called Skip the Dishes. The next one is Uber Eats. The next one is DoorDash. So if you're from Canada, you have to download this application. Then you have to write all your information, necessary information that are needed to be written on this application. All of these in order to pass a background check, and you need to accept your first order. Just after applying to these applications, you'll be starting to receiving this order for you to start delivering packages and different things from this place to another place. So I'm gonna show you this guy right here. This guy drives at least 3 evenings in a week, and he takes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and he stacks multiple apps and average at least $28 up to $35. So imagine that he makes $25 up to $39 per 1 hour, and that is roughly around $1,500 up to $1,700 per 1 month. All of this money he makes from side hustle apart from his job. So you can imagine that if he's making at least $2,000 from his job, it means that he makes $1,500 more apart from his job, which is very interesting. And you need to start working very hard, at least 3 times a week or 4 times a week. It just depends on your timetable, and if you are just going to do this, you can really start to make money as a side hustle, and you can improve your life if you're facing financial difficulty, especially living in Canada is very expensive right now. So realistic earnings, like how much can average person make from delivering in Canada? So I'm gonna be very realistic right now, and if just one person works at least 10 hours up to 15 hours a week, he can make at least $600 up to $1,200 per month. Let's say that he works at least 20 up to 25 hours a week, he can make at least $1,500 up to $2,500 just in 1 month. This is a very, very good amount of money. So if you don't have any work to do right now and you think that you can do this full time, you can end up making up to $3,000 in just 1 month, up to $4,000 just by delivering and all that. Alright, so this is like the basic tips that I want to give you right now. If you really want to make extra cash, if you really want to make reasonable amount of money just by doing delivery, you need to download, you need to be working on multiple applications. On that you can make a reasonable amount of money. And you need to work on weekends. You have to choose, like, you need to work like the whole day on weekends. It can be Saturday or Sunday all day. You don't have to rest on weekends. You can make reasonable amount of money, and I've seen a lot of people that are making up to $4,000 just by doing that. So this is like the best tip for you to start making a lot of money. You need to have multiple applications to increase the amount of money that you want to make, but also to increase the order flow. Right now, let's go to our next method. This one is very common right now in Canada, and there are a lot of people who are making up to $2,000 every single month just by doing this. So you need to do the following. You need to go to different shops that they sell, use the items. It can be clothes, it can be books, it can be furniture, and you need to buy these items for very cheap price. And I'm going to show this woman. She goes to different stores and she buys at least different items for $60 to $80, and she goes to Facebook Market and she sells these items that were undervalued, that were not used at all, and she sells these items for high price. And the amount of money that this woman makes, at least she earns $1,200 every single month, up to $2,000 per month, just by doing this every single time she buys used this stuff, and she goes to Facebook Market and starts selling this stuff for high price. And the other thing that we can do right now, if you have an item in your home and you no longer use it, you may want to go ahead and sell this to marketplace for higher price. And there are a lot of people are coming there to buy this, use this stuff on Facebook, and you can start making a reasonable amount of money. And the platforms that you can go ahead and sell this, use this stuff, is that you can go to Kijiji, also you can go to Facebook Marketplace, also you can go to eBay Canada and Vinted and Poshmark Canada. These are platforms that can allow you to sell this stuff for high price, and you can find different customers right there. They're just waiting for you. So this is another side hustle that you can start to make sure that your life is going to improve just by doing that. I'm going to be really honest with you. This is a method that is a very high paying side hustle that you can go ahead and start, and you can get a reasonable amount of money. But people find it very boring. That's the reason a lot of people, they are skipping this method and they never want to hear about this. But this is the only method on this list that can make you a reasonable amount of money as a side hustle. So this method is called visual assistant work. This is the method that it pays a lot of money and no degree required. So what is this? This is handling remote tasks as admin for business owners, and you can go there and start replying to email, email management, and you have to schedule for the company, but also data entry and customer service. Right now, there are a lot of companies that they need someone who can provide good customer care, and just by providing this good customer care in a company, they pay her reasonable, or they pay him reasonable amount of money. So where to find this work? This is the most important questions, like everyone wants to know, like, I'm ready to do this work, so how can I really find this work and start getting paid? You need to go to Zisho, this platform which is called Zisho, and you need to go to another platform which is called Belay Solutions, and you need to go to this another platform which is very famous, which is called Indeed.ca. And also you have to go to this platform which is called Upwork, which is very famous. And the other way that you can find, the other way that you really can find this job, you have to physically reach out to this small business and ask for them that you can provide this service like email management and customer care services and all that. Business owners, they may take you in right after approaching them. So this one is a very, very good way to start making money, as I said. Also, and the amount of money that you can start making by doing this work, it just depends. If you are just going to work for 1 hour, you can make $15 up to $22 per 1 hour. And if you have experience and you really know how to do this work, you can get paid up to $25 up to $50 this amount of money for those people with experience, all right? So the other amount of money that you can start making, if you're just going to work as part-time, you can make up to $1,200 up to $3,000. So this is our next method to start making money, especially if you're in Canada. So let's say that you're really good at mathematics, let's say that you're really good at physics, English, any skills that any skills that you have right now, you can monetize it and start making money. So how are you really going to make money? By teaching people what you know. You need to go to this platform. The first platform is called Wisant, and the next one is called superprof.ca, tutor.com, Varsity, Tutors, and local Facebook groups, and Kijiji. These are platforms that are really going to pay you, and a platform that you may want to go ahead and start finding these clients or people who may want to learn something from you and pay you a reasonable amount of money. So how much exactly are you really going to make just by teaching people? This is the amount of money that you may be getting by teaching people. So if you're just going to take at least 1 hour to teach students, you can make $25 up to $75. So the amount of money that you're going to earn, it just depends on the skills that you're going to teach or on the subject that you're going to teach. Let's say that you're going to teach physics. You can earn a lot of money by teaching physics. Is way different than English, that. So it just depends, and the amount of money that you may be making a month, you can make $800 up to $3,000 by teaching. So if you really want to make like reasonable amount of money, I would encourage that you need to teach mathematics and science subjects. These are subjects that pay a lot of money to different teachers who may be able to teach to students. French, mathematics, and science, these are really good and they are in really high demand. So if you're in Canada and you really want to make extra money, you may want to start doing that. And if you don't have anything to do, maybe you can just apply this to full-time and you can start making like reasonable amount of money as a side hustle. So right now, let's go to next method for you to start making money in Canada as a side hustle. Alright, so this one is becoming more and more common: content writing and copywriting. Let's say that you're really good at writing captions, description. All you want to do is that you may want to get paid just by doing that. You may want to approach this small business and tell them that you're ready to reply to different messages, or you are ready to manage their social media accounts like Instagram. So your work right there will be writing captions to every post that they post on their Instagram account or TikTok account. So you'll be writing captions. This is how we call content writing, and there are a lot of people who are making up to $500 every single month. And if you have experience and you have been doing this for a really long time, you can make up to $1,500 per 1 month. And how do you really get this job? The most important thing is that you need to learn everything about social media. You really need to understand the basic SEO, search engine optimization, and how do you get clients. You may want to go ahead and create LinkedIn account or Fiverr or Upwork. There are a lot of clients that you may find there to write for their small business accounts, email newsletter. This one is very, very common, and a lot of people are making reasonable amount of money. So if you really want to start the side hustle, you can start learning basic SEO, and you can start learning anything related to social media, how to post, how to write captions. This one is a very, very good way. And how do you get these customers? You may want to reach out to this small business directly. You may want to go there and ask if you can work for them and you get paid. So this one is our next method. This method is rent out what you already have. Rent out what you already own. It can be a car, it can be a spare room that you have at your home. You may want to rent as a storage space or parking spot, and there are a lot of people who are doing this and they're making a lot of money. So how do you get your clients? You need to join on the platforms like Airbnb. You need to join on this platform which is called VRBO, and there are other platforms which is called Turo. This is for car rental, and Neighbor.com. This is special for garage or basement storage. So if you have spare room in your house, you may want to go to these platforms, and you need to explain like you have this spare room, so that anyone that want that space for a particular time, you may want to rent to them and get paid up to $95 per one night. Let's say that you want to rent this parking spot for $95 just per one night. So the more customer that you get, the more money that you're gonna make. There are a lot of people who are making up to $1,000 just by renting what they already have. It can be apartment, it can be a room, it can be a car. They are making reasonable amount of money. So I'm gonna show you the realistic earnings for renting what you already have. A lot of people are making at least $700 up to $2,500 per one month. And Turo car rental on these platforms, a lot of people are making up to $400 up to $1,200. So all of these methods that I've explained in this video, they are really working, and there are a lot of people who are doing this in Canada, and they're making a reasonable amount of money. So if you're in Canada right now, you don't have to let this opportunity just go. You have to go ahead and try this opportunity, especially this renting is something that I really like. There are a lot of people right now, they have big houses, but they can make money out of it without them knowing. So this is like the best way for them to start a side hustle, just by renting their houses, their space for storage, and their cars. This is very reasonable. So how are you going to advertise yourself? You need to use Canva, you need to use Adobe. At first you have to take good picture, then you have to edit this picture and upload it to this website that I've mentioned in these platforms, that you can get these customers ready to pay you. So thanks so much, and I hope to see you next time. I hope this is really going to help you, and I'm not saying that, I'm not guaranteeing you, but all I can say that it just depends on your effort for you to start making money as a side hustle, especially if you're from Canada. Thanks so much, and I see you next time. Thank you.